All right, so let's talk about the Fall Guy, right?
Sure.
This was not like one of my highly anticipated theatrical release experiences of the year, but it is one that I was genuinely excited to see for
Right.
three main reasons. First being the obvious Ryan Gosling,
Right.
second being Emily Blunt. So it's literally Ken with I forget the Oppenheimer's
Yeah.
wife name.
Right.
Yeah, so it's literally two of them, and that's a joke, and even
Yeah.
SNL quite
Barbenheimer.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barbenheimer. So literally, it's Barbenheimer 2 in a sense, or
Sure.
1.5 if you really want to think about it like that, right?
Right.
Um, and also the director himself, David
Right.
Leitch, right? If I got the name wrong,
That's
forgive me,
the
right?
big pull from it. And I'm gonna just mention a workable comparison to some bullshit, and I was reminded of this piece of bullshit recently because of Double Toasted. So we'll talk about that.
Right. Last time we heard from him, he directed a pretty solid, for me, guilty pleasure movie in the form of Bullet Train, right?
Right.
I really enjoyed it, even though, I mean, it was style over substance, but it was a fun time in the movie. At the movies, I had a
He didn't
blast
do
with.
John Wick.
He worked on John Wick. Well, all right. So
Oh, he
what
didn't
do you
direct
think?
it. Okay. No problem.
Actually, yes. He directed that. Actually, okay. So I for a hot minute I get confused with Chad Stahelski. I thought that Chad directed all the John Wick films, but actually no. David started off with that one, right? But yeah.
Right.
And he also did Atomic Blonde, which I saw. Really enjoyed
Right.
that. Deadpool 2, yeah. And Hobbs and Shaw was solid, but yeah. So David know his thing, right? But what makes this show really interesting, right, is that he is, he was a stunt performer, right?
Right.
And this show, in a sense, it's a tribute to the it's a tribute to the stuntman, right? So I'll just get into what it's about, right? So it centers on the character of Colt Severs, right? Who is played by Ryan Gosling, right? He is one of the biggest, stuntmen. He's been in the game for years. He is basically the stuntman for a guy by the name of Tom Ryder. Yeah, kind of obvious it's supposed to be Tom Cruise, and he even threw a couple of, like, not so much winks, but just kind of calling out Tom Cruise now, in jest, right? It's all fun and whatnot, right? And that makes it interesting because, Emily Blunt and, Tom Cruise work together on, I would say one of the best action movies of the 2010s. That would be Edge of Tomorrow, right? So look at that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But right, Tom Ryder is played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, right? I actually did not even know he was in this too. So I saw him like, hey, all right,
Yeah.
man, doing comedy and shit. All right, cool. You know what I mean? So at least this is just for me to not. It's just this is just for me to forget that eventually we'll get Craven, which now, well, sorry, not now, but was
So they still want to
announced
push out.
earlier on that they pushed it to like December. So like, okay, they really don't care, right? But whatever, right? So yeah, but then at the same time now, on the set of a film now, he has this relationship with a woman by the name of Jodie Moreno, who is played by Emily Blunt, right? So at the time when they were together,
she's the DP
well,
I think.
yeah, she was one of the she's one of the assistant directors, right? Yeah, she was there, right?
Oh, she's 80. Okay, no problem.
80, yeah.
Right.
And during the filming of a particular stunt, Colt basically fall, i.e. the title, and break your back, right, so to speak, right? So yeah, he's on the shelf for a year and a half. Everybody pretty much say that he disappeared because he just didn't contact anybody, and he did not even contact Jodie, right? Even though they were in a relationship, right? So of course, Jodie being Jodie, she moved on with her life, and now she actually is a director, and she is working on her first time film, which is this. It's basically blatantly, I like how they do this on purpose. And also just to get it all the way, they throw some nice little jests at Warner Brothers, especially the big budget style of filmmaking that I praise from Warner Brothers, even when they do a lot of silly shit. But basically, it's Dune meets Mad Max Fury Road. That's really what it is, right? Yeah. So this big sci-fi epic, which is ridiculous. Well, when you see it, it's funny, but yeah, it's basically Dune meets Mad Max, right? And through some circumstances, Cole gets cast to play, Tom's stuntman again, right?
They shooting it in Australia, right?
Right, in Sydney, right? Well, in Australia, sorry, yeah. So yeah, Cole show up and Judy's like, you know what, I don't want to talk to you, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff, right? So, but, he's still love and whatnot, and they're trying to mend things, right? While all this is going on, Tom, it's revealed that Tom has not shown up on set for like some weeks now, thereabout, and we learn that maybe he disappeared or something like that, or he ran afoul of some shady people or whatnot. So we don't really know what's going on, right? But he is now hired by the producer of the film, Gil, to find Tom. And the whole idea is that, you're a stuntman, nobody really know you, you know what I mean, you're doing your stuff, but the real person, the person who gets the butts in seats is Tom. So we kind of need Tom to finish the film, even though you are the guy doing basically all of this guy's stunts, right? And that leads into pretty much a kind of a murder mystery, because it's, where's Tom? Is he alive? All that kind of stuff. And this kind of mini adventure ensues. But at the same time now, Colt is still trying to mend this relationship with Jodie. Jodie's trying to finish this film, and just insanity and hilarity and big stunts ensue, right? And I'll stop there. So yeah, Ricardo, your thoughts on The Fall Guy?
This is what Argyle should have been.
I see. In terms of the genre blending, right?
Right,
I'll talk about the genre blending.
It's the same kind of conceit. It's a meta conceit about the creation of stuff. At the same time, you're doing the creation of stuff. Right? It's meta.
Oh, right. So Argyle was with books. This one is about movies. You're right.
Right. Right. And so you have a story within a story about a story over a story. That kind of stuff. And you had to execute that. Argyle was frustrating nonsense. That didn't work at all. This was actually like an actual funny thing, and it works. The meta stuff. Look, I'm a very biased person towards meta stuff. You just have to put in a little bit of meta, and you make it work for me, right? Even if the story not all that great or anything like that. As far as the straight story goes, it's not all that great. It's normal, fine. I think Ryan Gosling is really good chemistry with Emily Blunt. That's why it works. They bounce off each other really well. Good dialogue. He's funny in it. The reveal and the plot reveal itself was like, hey, there's a good twist. Like, there's a good reveal. Is it? I love how the fake movie just looked better than Zack Snyder's actual real Rebel Moon.
And I think also on purpose. Yeah, it have a few shots that look very Rebel Moonish. I was like, I see you.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought this was a lot better than I expected it to be. I again went in with very low expectations. Didn't think it would have been all that great or anything like that. It was just, that's how you do this. Like, this is how you should nail this conceit, how you should tell this kind of story. Winston Duke is good in this. I liked him. I thought he was a little small part.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be in the film, but yeah, I thought that he was great.
That's a nice little cameo. I dig all of this, and yeah, that's about it. It's just fun, interesting outing. I didn't feel like I wasted my time or anything like that. It's just like, they just make it work for what it is, and it's enjoyable. Like, none of it is like, this is a waste of my time or just real trash or anything like that. It's like, this is what you're supposed to do with it. Make it work. Tell your story in and out, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. That was about it. Yeah. Nothing to talk about, because it's just, where the beats are. Everything it's funny. It's more like a screwball comedy kind of aspect of that. That's how I feel about that. But it's not super deep or interesting as it is. So that's about it. Yeah.
Right. So to the Academy, right? The guys behind the Oscars, right? Look, it's been petitioned, to have a Best Stunts award, right? At the Oscars, right? But y'all was so ignorant about that now, and y'all just taking all this sweet time to make this thing official, that people had to make a movie pretty much letting you know, look, just give me a nomination, just give me a category. There, you know what I mean? So yeah, that is one way I can look at it. Like, it's just, a bunch of people who love stunts, directed by a former stuntman, saying, look, let me just get an Oscar now, please. Let me get an Oscar. Like, we do so much in terms of entertaining you guys, right? And I love, slight spoiler, I love how the movie starts off with a few scenes from, I don't want to say classic movies, but it's Universal films, because a Universal, feature, by the way. Yeah. About, stunt work and its evolution over the years, and kind of showing you, look, the great scenes that you remember, stuntman was behind that, right? I love that the show never lost sight of the fact that, yes, it's in tribute to the stuntman, right down to the end as well, too. I would say, without spoiling much, if you are a fan of Hong Kong action cinema, you will love the roll credit sequence for this. You'll see it. You know what I'm talking about. I'll be like, all right, I love this. This is great, right? And stick around a little bit longer, because there's a mid-credit scene as well too. Don't leave just yet. There's something that happens.
I only saw the big guest cameo at the end when they show the movie.
All right. Okay. So you left just as the credits roll.
I left
Oh,
after that.
you should have stuck around. You should have stuck around. Yeah, so it's this love letter to the art of the stunt of of doing stunt
Yeah,
work, right? Just framing it within the set of a big budget movie makes a lot of sense. I was just loving all the meta stuff, winking at the camera,
right,
the little jokes at Tom Cruise. They make one joke involving incorporating someone's face onto his,
right.
no, sorry, incorporating his face onto somebody else's body. That was funny. I like that.
Mhm.
And even the stunts themselves were solid, right? So fun
Yeah.
fact, I didn't even notice, but I'm not gonna say this is a nitpick, right? But in the show they actually see it, but I knew this going into it, right? So this show actually has a Guinness World Record on its belt because there's a scene involving a scene involving a car being blown up, and there's a cannon roll. It does 8.5 cannon rolls, the most cannon rolls is ever filmed in any film, right?
Wow.
I didn't notice. Prior to watching the film, I was watching, just kind of selling myself out here, Monday Night Raw, and there was like an interview with one of the wrestlers, Ricochet, and the director, and he's talking about, oh, well, David was saying, this show has a Guinness World Record because 8.5 rolls, and you actually see it like filmed there, what I mean, and you count the rolls, boom, 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 boom. So like when I saw the moment happen for myself, I was like, yeah, I remember that because David said that
Right,
in
right,
that
right, right.
little promo thing. But a character actually says, "Oh, that's history being made. That's like a Guinness World Record." Like, all right, sure, okay, thanks for that little winking moment. I like that, right? Yeah. The meta stuff works as well, and I would say like if you are a film fan, especially in terms of the art of filmmaking, yeah, you will
Yeah,
love all this stuff, right? Also in terms of just Ryan Gosling being in film, I think that's perfect casting. I feel like it's purposeful because I feel like the show is drawing from some of his previous works, so you see a bit of Crazy Stupid Love with the romantic comedy stuff. You see a bit of The Nice Guys with the murder mystery stuff, right? And you see some action stuff, with stuff that he's been in, like the Green Man, which was terrible, but whatever. But you know what I mean? So it's kind of drawing from the aspects that we know about Ryan Gosling, him being the leading man, being so charming and handsome and all kind of stuff, right? And being able to sell these scenes, right? Of course, pairing them with Emily Blunt is great as well too, and I love that Emily is not just there because what I mean, we need somebody who could do drama and all that kind of stuff, right? But she has been in a few action films. I mentioned Edge of Tomorrow already, right?
yeah.
And of course, their chemistry is magnetic, though. You do buy into them being this couple who, yeah, they have a falling out, right? And the falling out makes sense, but I like that they're not like all, okay, I don't want to talk to you again, even though it kind of starts off like that when they reunite, but they kind of work things out and you see how it plays out there, right? You are right, though. It does feel like, those old screwball comedies of like the 40s and 50s where it's like, we kind of don't like each other, but we love each other, you know what I mean? That kind of vibe,
Right.
and just end up in this weird, crazy scenario, right? Um, but it's all based on Ryan though, and just the shenanigans that he gets into. And yes, it does play beat for beat though. There are a couple of twists, but they're not like mind blowing or anything like that. But they're kind of smart in terms of the story that's being told, right? Now, one thing though, I do love the fact that the show does not take itself seriously at all,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Um,
They're not bad in that sense. It's like, okay, they
exactly.
just tell
Yeah.
themselves, we're gonna just do this story. This is it. Don't overthink it. That's why
Right.
that way they don't try to be too smart or try to outsmart you or anything like that, and they don't try to do something too outbeat or execute. This is where Argyle like completely collapsed because
Right.
Argyle feel like it was trying to outsmart the audience. Like you get that sense,
Uh,
trying
uh-huh.
to do that bullshit, whatever.
Okay,
Too
okay.
much
Yeah,
first
yeah.
person. And they made fun of that in the narrative. Like they say, don't do too much when he was telling them when he was explaining the plot. It's like you're doing
Oh,
too much.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, that,
to the
you know, and
explain
his
the plot of the
exposition
film.
and so on so. And then like, okay, I'm rolling my eyes at this, but it's still funny. Like it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
bad. Yeah,
right. So I could see some people, right? I could see some people not really vibing with the blending of genres, right? And I could
right.
understand, right? It's not perfect, but
Yeah,
is effective enough for me to get invested, right? So it's an action film. It's a comedy film. It's a romantic film as well, too, right? So if you're expecting more of a particular genre, you'll be disappointed by this, right? So go in expecting this thing to be this full tilt action film, right? I can actually see some people not liking the how they blend tones and whatnot, and that's
right.
into the editing. I had no problem with the editing as well, but while I was watching it, I was telling myself, I could see some people kind of going into this and expecting more romance, but there's not that much. All right, I don't want to say that there isn't much, right? But it's enough, and there is enough comedy in it too. But it's not like this laugh out loud, constantly busting my sides kind of film, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
And same with the action too. It's not like a full all-out action film neither, right? But I like how they blend the genres very well. I think they do it well for the most part, right? I feel like if I watch again, I'll be like, maybe they could have tightened this up a little bit, or maybe this joke fall flat. This dragon is sorry, blah blah blah. But I was thoroughly entertained by this, and just mainly because I just wasn't taking it seriously, and the show itself was not taking itself seriously from the word go. You know, it's like, no, don't take this seriously, Dre. Like that's what it is, right? It's just a fun summer blockbuster movie, and pretty much this is just to kick off the summer blockbuster season. I think that this show really killed it in terms of that, right? And lastly, though, direction is strong throughout though from David, right? Like the man know his way around the camera, Joe. This is the kind of stylistic shots he was doing. And but again, just not letting. Well, for me, what I admire too is that he didn't let those moments get to his head. He still wants to tell a story about these likable characters. So, at times he would just sort of slow things down, just let the scene breathe, let the characters act or whatnot, instead of just jumping into, some big action sequence or whatnot, right? And yes, the action sequences are over the top and whatnot, but they are fun. The third act in particular was just all sorts of awesome, just like the third act of Bullet Train, though. It was just insanity, but it just works, though, in terms of just the popcorn and, enjoyment of it. Although that's the, shoveling popcorn in your face and just having fun with all this kind of stuff. And for me, it just totally works, right? So just to get the rating, for me, I'm gonna give this a strong 4 out of 5. This is one of the best. This actually me for one of the best theatrical experiences I've had all year so far. Well, for the year so far, right? Would I have seen this in IMAX? I don't know, but I mean, I saw it on a big screen. I enjoy it, and the sound was booming, so I had fun with that, right? But I wouldn't say it's a show that you have to see in IMAX, right? Even though, when it comes to like big budget movies with explosions, go see it in IMAX, right? But it's like this one, if you want to, you know what I mean? But yeah, everybody was doing the thing. Whether it's Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who, by the way, I didn't expect to be so funny in this. I thought he was hilarious. Winston Duke, I didn't even know he was in this. He was funny as well too. He get to punch some people, so it's like, you know what? He hasn't lost his chops from since like what Black Panther. So he can still do it, right? And even McGill, Stephanie Sue, it's like, hey, you
from the boys, right? There's Kimiko. Right, Kimiko from the boys.
No, that's somebody else. Kimiko is another actress. Stephanie Sue is Everything Everywhere.
Oh, right. It's slipping my mind, right? Oh god.
Yeah. I was like, hey, you in this too? Nice, great. You know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff, right? And this last thing I mentioned too, though, the cameo near the end of it is pure genius. I'll just give you a little hint. Is Warner Brothers stuff, and I feel like it's purposefully saying, I see this too, like Warner Brothers when all this swing or Israel swinging though, right? I feel like they just cast this person because of Warner Brothers, and they just the kind of movies that they make, and even the movie itself that they're making is very much like a Warner Brothers property, right? So, and it's even funny too because of Zack Snyder and his involvement with Warner Brothers stuff, right? Meaning with 300 and Watchmen, right? So it's like that, right? It's meta. I love that kind of stuff, right? But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this though. I really enjoyed it. But again, I can imagine some people not really digging it because it's not enough action, not enough comedy, not enough romance. I want more, you know what I mean? But you kind of get all, you know what I mean, in this neat, enjoyable 2-hour package, man. I can't be mad at that. So Ricardo, your final thoughts on it?
Yeah, I went in relatively low expectations, and then when I think about when somebody reminded me of another thing, it went up a little bit. So it get a higher score than expected. So yeah, I get it a 7 out of 10. It'll probably get a 6. It's fine, relatively boilerplate stuff given the meta conceit, but other than that, but because it feels like a good palate cleanser to Argyle, which I thought was one of the worst things I've ever watched in a while. This was pretty good. Like, this is what you're supposed to do with this. Like, all right, cool. They make it work. Yes, 7 out of 10. Nothing to really talk about. It's just like they just tell the story and they do the meta premise reasonably well in terms of like talking about films and making reference to films in its own way. Great. Can't go wrong with that for me. I find I'm always a sucker for that. Well done. I enjoyed it.
Right. And lastly, before we move on, I really like just going back to what I said. I really hope that the Academy is serious with. Cause yeah, this basically is the cinematic pitch to the Academy saying,
right.
Give us a best stunt Oscar nomination, a category, please. Just give us that. You know what I mean? Not just honoring the stunt people, blah blah blah. Which is what they did in the Oscars this year. With the leads themselves. They came and they did this nice little pitch about this little promo about this the stuntman of the blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. They did that, right? But yeah, I really do hope that the Academy watch this and be like, okay, fine, all right, we will do the damn thing, but next year or something like that, right? So they get shut up about it, right? But yeah, but real talk though, all jokes aside though, I'm glad that a movie like this exists, right? Because yes, while I do love the John Wick films and whatnot, and that in itself is a tribute to the stuntman as well too. This one feels more like the love letter, you know what I mean? There's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Even in a silly romantic comedy, but silly but very entertaining romantic comedy. Yeah, pay tribute to the stuntman, man. And yeah, I can't be wrong. I can't be mad at this.